How to know if someone's going to make a permanent turnaround or just a temporary one. Short-term turnaround or long-term change. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. Promises, promises. Have you ever been around someone who made a promise to change and it was very sincere? They really meant it at the time, but it didn't last very long? I know I have in my life. I've met people that truly were sincere at the moment. They were remorseful for their behavior. They were apologetic, and it truly was coming from a very sincere place for that moment, but it didn't last. How do you know if a change is permanent, if someone is truly remorseful long-term enough to make the permanent changes that they need to make in their life? Or is this going to be a temporary situation where they make a change for the moment, but it doesn't last very long, and they revert right back to the negative patterns, traits, and behaviors that they've had all along? Well, sometimes it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if someone is going to make a permanent change or just a temporary, non-lasting change. And usually time will tell. And I think the best of us cannot always be sure of which is which. But I will tell you, I have met people that made all kinds of promises to make permanent change, that they're never going to do whatever it was that they were going to do again, only to go back and do it again and again and again and again. And that person loses credibility. And once a person has lost credibility, it's very difficult to believe that change will ever take place. I believe in always hoping for change. I believe in always believing that permanent change can take place at some point or another, even if it never happens. I remember many years ago, I knew someone many years ago who I still chose to believe the best about. I still chose to hope and pray for change for them, even though it didn't look good. Well, they didn't change, okay? And the outcome was not good. And so they didn't change, but I still held hope all the way through. So there's nothing wrong with holding hope as long as we don't invest to the degree that it negatively affects us, or that we are supporting their bad traits and behavior. A lot of times people cannot continue on down a negative road without the fuel to do so. And if someone is codependent and supporting them on that road, often they'll keep on going until they no longer have that fuel, that energy, or that support to keep them going in that negative direction. Sometimes when one person quits fueling their car, so to speak, they'll find someone else to do it. So the sincere change has to take place from within. And even though it may be a sincere change at the moment, it may not be lasting. It may revert right back to the way things were. And so how do we know? I don't think we truly do know if something's going to be permanent or not permanent. It may or may not be. And it depends on the relationship, the investment, the time, and if we want to believe them. Often we want to believe a person so desperately that we will believe them and give them chances over and over and over. And I think that's a personal choice. Sometimes there's been people that I said, you know what, I'm not going to quit believing in them, even though they don't believe in themselves, or even though they've failed so many times, or even though they've not held to their word. And I still believed in them, and I still cared about them and loved them. I didn't necessarily fuel their car to go down a wrong road at all. I most certainly didn't do that, but I most certainly still continue to care. Caring about someone doesn't mean you support their journey down a wrong road. It means that you love and care about them. And sometimes you even have to step back from a relationship in some situations in order to let that person find out that the road that they're traveling on is not going to work. And sometimes they never do. It's unfortunate, but some people in life continue to travel down one wrong road after the other and never turn around. But there are people that do at some point make that turnaround. But it's got to come from them, because no matter how much we want them to change, they're probably not going to change until they are ready to change. And so that honest effort that they make, the true honest effort, can happen even after 100 failed attempts. So I never give up hope that someone will change. It's just often I don't stand there and invest in that relationship the way that I would in a normal relationship that was healthy and going in a right direction. So in other words, I'm not going to support negative behaviors. I'm not going to support a negative journey down a wrong road. And yet I can still love and care about a person, even if I truly don't think that they will ever change. And some people do not change. And so I still keep the hope out that they will change at some point, even when I don't believe that they truly will change. Some people don't change and some people do. We just never know. So I always keep hope out for the impossible, that the impossible may happen, that people will change for the better. They will honor their commitment, their word. They will honor what they say that they're going to do, even if it's the hundredth time that they've tried. And yet I don't put a lot of credibility in what they say at the same time. These are only my opinions. I don't give advice. I don't give suggestions. I just share with you my views on life and how I see things. I always wish everyone the best. And just because someone's traveling a wrong road doesn't mean that I love them any less. I still can love them. I just don't travel that road with them. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.